Welcome back to Greenlands, and today we're going to be carrying on with the megafield, but first we're going to get rid of a bunch of the productions because I'm not enjoying them so much. So that's the first job for today, so let's roll the intro and get to work. Yeah, I mentioned in the last video that I'm not enjoying playing with productions so much, so we are going to get rid of them. The first one to go is the grain mill. 25 grand back for that, which is okay, I guess. And we've got the few boxes of pig food left. The sugar mill, the dairy, and the oil mill are all still busy. So we're going to leave those to work until they are empty, and then probably going to sell all of those as well. Yeah, I'm just not enjoying using them as much as I thought I would. We have a lot of sugar, so we're going to load that up and get it sold. This stuff is very heavy on this trailer, particularly once there are 12 pallets on there. But it's good because it's going to bring us in some money, which we need, obviously, after buying the big tractor last time. So, a few trips backwards and forwards to the sell point. It's the same sell point as we've used for all the other productions, and we can get a bunch of these sold. And as I said, once they finish processing, they are all going to be sold and demolished, and we'll turn this area into a bit of an extension of the farmyard. And if timing works well, maybe we can put the BGA up here and keep that space we've got clear for the farmland, excuse me. So yeah, going to I think it's the fast food restaurant. They buy a lot of sugar. I guess they make milkshakes. P&P's Cafe. Not sure why they'd need 12 tons of sugar, but I'm not going to argue. Because that was a quite nice 10.5 grand, getting a little bit for the precision farming environmental score at this point. We don't really have much of an environmental score, but it's a nice little bonus. I think it's 2% we're getting at the moment. That is obviously going to improve. So we've now got another 8 pallets of sugar on the back, and I think a couple of pallets of canola oil, or maybe only one. Canola oil does pay very well, so this might be quite a good payout as well. Yeah, another 10 grand. Pretty happy with that. So going to get the Yan lime spreader, which is why I was just looking at how much that cost, and then we can pay off some more of the loan. Yes. So we're down to £9,650,000 in debt, but we are making progress. But it's I think it's the next morning, and mixing up a bit of TMR for the cows. So we have the silage in from the pit, and just remembering finally to put some mineral feed in Roll On Maize Plus when there will be a minimum requirement for mineral feed in what I do. So just I think the trigger for filling from the pallet is at the back of the mixer, which kind of doesn't make sense when it's got that thing at the front. I know I should probably be using a telehandler to lift it up, but in reality you'd probably just grab a couple of bags off the pallet and throw them in the back. So maybe you wouldn't use a telehandler. We climb up those stairs there and throw them in, or empty them in. Probably wouldn't put the paper in unless it's special paper, which is full of extra minerals. Yeah, we're just going to chuck a bit in, and then we'll go grab some hay and call it a mix. And I'm going to cheat and just drop it in from the silo fill option from this shed. Now, when we do the straw, we'll do the straw properly. So I did find actually on here there's a collision trying to go in the shed this way. As we know, with FS22, you don't have to feed your animals very often, and I had forgotten that I couldn't drive in this direction. No idea why, but it just gets stuck. It's not grounding out at all. I can't see any obvious collisions when I open up the F5 menu, but I don't know. So after a few attempts, I end up driving around to the other side, and it works just fine. Yeah. That's not frustrating, is it? It's not frustrating at all. I'm pretty sure this is a base game shed. I'm sure that's a trigger rather than a collision there. Don't know. I don't know. But I just decided to give up and go around the other way. I didn't put any straw in TMR because we don't have a lot of straw. We only had the one field. I might even try reversing in still. We only had the one small field of oats that we harvested this year, so we haven't got a lot of straw in stock. So we're just doing straw for bedding at the moment, and maybe in the after harvest we'll be able to add straw into the TMR. It's a very frosty December morning, but this works better. It actually works. Yeah, the beds are looking pretty empty as well, so we do need to give them some more straw. I am running the manure fix on here as well as on Calmsden, so that means we should be getting a lot more manure now, just over double. Yeah, that's a nice little PC only script mod that fixes the fact that the game doesn't produce as much manure as it should. So we should be getting about double the amount of manure now. Cool. Now we're going into the BGA on here because it's all about the cash. And if we put it in the BGA, we get digestate, which we can then dry into fertilizer to use or to sell. So I have been, I don't know if I mentioned it at the end of the last video, I've been setting the fertilizer to sell. So we've been putting digestate into the dryer and then selling the fertilizer direct. That, and we will sell some excess lime off at the end of this. That's bringing us in a nice supply of income. And what I actually end up doing, because I was being a bit slow, is set the BGA to distribute digestate, because the only place that takes it is the fertilizer production, and that automatically then starts sending digestate to the fertilizer dryer, and then that's set on selling, so that is bringing in money. I am going to keep the productions I have at the farmyard. I'm enjoying using those. They are useful. It's the ones over on the industrial site that they just feel like they're adding in time and complexity that's keeping me away from actually doing the farming in FarmSim, which is what I enjoy doing. So that's why the plan is to get rid of them. And I had said I would go more into productions on here, but I'm just not enjoying that side of production. So we will stop. And so I'm going to keep the ones that are farmed. Like I said, we've got the biomass heater, we've got the BGA, we've got those fermenting silos, which I probably won't use next time. I'm probably going to use the pit next time. We've got the fertilizer dryer, there's the rock crusher at the BGA, and we're going to put in the big industrial BGA once we do the mega corn harvest thing, silage stuff. So we've just got a couple of straw bales out, and we're going to put those in the blower, and that should bed the cows up for a bit. The other cow pen, because it's full of calves, is doing just fine for feed, and through, depending on the age of the animals in there, through the summer period, I'll probably just let them graze and take the hit on their health until some of them are close to selling weight, and maybe we'll put another pen in then to fatten them for selling. There is a really nice pen that I like, which is probably about the right size for fattening. The alien pool's using it on his farm, and I had it on one of the multiplayers that I ran that kind of failed. And I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically an open-fronted beef shed. And yeah, my plan is, I think maybe we'll fatten the beef in one of those. I like that idea. So we'll graze the calves out in the pasture, which is not actually what they do with calves. I guess they mostly feed them grain, but that's what I'm going to do for this. So they'll spend spring, summer eating grass, and then we'll move them into the shed to fatten them. I like that idea. When we get calves off the dairy cows, they will be going into the same pasture as well to grow on, just so we can keep producing calves out of this pen. This seems sensible. We could just, the best way of doing it is actually just to have it full of cows producing milk, but I don't want to do that. So that's what we're doing. We'll get calves out of these, and that's why I've only got 160 in here instead of 240, because that leaves space for the cows to produce their calves, and then we can move them before the second lot of cows have calves. That's why it's done. There is logic to why I'm doing that. Blowing some straw in. Same with the sheep. So the sheep, I brought 100. The pen has space for 200, so we can have lambs, and then I'm not sure whether I'm just going to keep those or move them out into another pasture to grow on, or what. We'll see. I might actually put them, if I can fit a small pasture in the area that was the remainder of the grass. No, because it's too sloped. I don't know. I'll have a think. But that is definitely an option, so we can keep the lambs being produced as well. Quite a bit of silage left still as well. I think there's like 300,000 litres in there. So we're good for feed through to spring, I think. I'm hoping that when we, with the grass cutting, we can put some of the silage through the BGA off of that. We'll do a mixture of bales and pits and all sorts of stuff as we go on. Right, I think it's time to go and do some lime spreading. So we'll take T7. T7 is getting quite a lot of work actually, turning into a popular tractor. I think it's because the Deutz is stuck on the beet auger feeding the BGA. But this did all of our liming at the main farm, and that Yan lime spreader is just so good. It's slightly cheaty, but it is very good, for, particularly for doing a field the size we have to do. You know, which is almost a field you can see from orbit. The thing's so big. As soon as we crest hill, there it is. It's huge. I might regret that when it comes round to chopping the silage, but I've enjoyed it so far. I don't show a lot of the liming, but it was kind of cool to switch off and just run GPS and spread the lime. The ploughing was great fun with the two tractors, and follow me. We'll have a look at seeding options later on in the video, but first we are going to buy the lime spreader. It's so cheap we may as well buy it. The Yan kit is really nice actually. There's a really nice little direct planter as well, and there's the self-propelled sprayer as well. I've no idea if they're officially licensed or not, but yeah, great addition to the game. So we'll take this over to the BGA, to the rock crusher, to fill with the lime that we've made. We got, I think, about 200,000 litres of lime from the 50-ish thousand litres of rocks that we had off that field. So whatever we don't use, we can just sell, because we don't need lime again for a while. And we've actually got 50,000 litres nearly in the silo that I put on the farm. So actually, yeah, we've got a lot of lime on hand, particularly now we've brought this, because the lime from this thing lasts forever. So, and now all the fields have had their first liming. The liming for future harvests, it doesn't take very much at all. So we'll be good. Might even use the Greenland spreaders for some of it, because they're wider, so we can cover the ground quicker, because we're just not going to use that much lime anymore. And if we need to rock pick, we get more lime. So yeah, it's all good. Don't know. Do I have it handy? I haven't been through my planting plans on here, I don't think. So we'll have a quick chat on those while we are driving. Let's find the picture, because I keep it stored on my phone. So we're going to do a couple of fields of oats, for straw mainly. And then we can use the oats in the feed when we get maize plus. A couple of fields, or 3 fields of maize for silage for keeping on the farm. If we sell it, don't know. We're going to have quite a lot of maize silage. A couple of fields of potatoes, a field of canola, and a field of poplar is the plan. Yes, I will be doing poplar. So Kartek, I was not just being mean and evil by suggesting that you plant it. I was being mean and evil by suggesting you plant it on multiplayer. But yeah, if you're going to ask questions, you're going to get stupid answers, at least from me. Right, so here we are down at the monster field. See the trees that we planted last time. left the 8RX and the class down here, and time to get rid of the sugar beet washing plant. 60 grand for that. It's pretty nice, actually. It's weird the different values that we're getting for the different productions as we sell them. Pretty cool. And what I'm looking at for planters is this guy, the John Deere. But it's in the sale half price. This is the modded version, which works with the extra tanks which go on the John Deere. So it's quite tempting to pick that up in the sale, although we don't have the cash at the moment. But when we sell the lime and more fertilizer, we might. And the BGA is always running, so, you know, we might have cash to buy that before it goes out of the sale. The alternative is we lease it, because we're only going to need it for a day, maybe 2 days. So leasing it might be an option. It might be cheaper. We have planters that we can do the fields on the main farm with perfectly easily. In fact, getting that thing around the main farm would be quite tricky, I think. It might be better to lease it, and then we don't have to worry about storing it either. Like, I'm going to put a shed in here, particularly as we make more space. Just need to shuffle the GPS course a little. It should run at 90 degrees, so because I had the plows running at 90 degrees. I just don't want to miss any. I don't have to come back, basically. So yeah, I'm not going to show you all of this because it did take me a long time. It took a couple of hours to do it all, I think. Hour and a half, something like that. And even on the time lapse, you don't want to watch that. And yeah, we're adding 3/4 of a unit of pH, 5.26 tons per hectare of lime. But yeah, because this is slightly cheaty, the spreader, very cheaty spreader. It uses it at about a 1/12 of what it should. So, you know, we'll jump into time-lapse mode now. I'll just do a little bit of the start, and then we'll jump to the end, pretty much, I think, is how I did this. Did leave a few tree stumps on the way. Yeah, I think we might pick some of those up as we go. And you can see there's one little random bit that I took a chunk out of the side of the field when I was ploughing. I think that was follow me when it decided to loop around as it was reconnecting to the course. And you can see, yeah, we are applying plenty of lime. Quick shout out to the channel members. Thank you for supporting the channel, and also to Hilly Farms, who is my first Patreon member or patron. I really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Still amazes me that people, that people want to support what I do. Very cool, but it kind of surprises me. You can see we're getting a good, nice, solid green colour on the pH now. This is I just cannot comprehend how much silage we are going to get off this field. It's going to be mental. Probably going to move away from focusing on this field after today's video until planting time, because we might put some nitrogen down. I don't know. I don't fancy hauling digestate over, if I'm honest. We might just do the nitrogen with the seeder, with the planter. But close to being done now. Running at a very fast time lapse to show you this last few bits. You can see we've put a couple of hours on the tractor to give you an idea of how long that it did take to get this job done. Been playing around with the time multiplier. Once we've done this, we're going to head back over to the farm, and again, it's probably unrealistic, but we're going to start getting some digestate spread onto the grass. We have a lot of digestate, and a lot of grass fields. So it seems, it's a nice winter's day, a bit dry. I think we can get some spread. Someone's going to tell me I shouldn't. No, it's a video game. And what I want to highlight with that is the change in the nitrogen levels for precision farming and grass. because they have changed. So yeah, nice lime field, all perfect. And yeah, that's me setting the lime to selling, the digestate to distributing. So the 880,000 litres of lime we had left can be sold. Brings in a nice little jump in cash. And then we have digestate being distributed to the dryer to be dried into solid fertilizer, which is then being sold. More cash coming in. Hopefully we can make another loan payment soon, or I'll buy a planter. I'm not sure which yet. I genuinely wasn't sure at this point which option I was going to take. So yeah, all of those are going to stay because I'm enjoying using those. So kick this off again, keep the BGA full. Drop the lime off there to go in the silo, give this a wash and find a shed to put it in. I think we'll put it by the combine. Seems like a sensible idea to me. So you probably have noticed, or may not have noticed, I mentioned it in the last couple of videos. The last couple of videos, all the voiceover has been done post-recording. That tends to happen when I play the game at the weekend, because I don't do voice stuff then. So we're going to get rid of the armor salmon as well. It's another step we don't need. We have so much sugar beet, we can just direct sell it to the BGA. The extra step of having to keep starting that thing is again another thing that's frustrating me, slowing down progress, all of the above. So yeah, we're going to do it that way. We'll just direct feed into the BGA. We don't need the extra 10%. Just going to stick that lime in the silo. Get that out of the way. So yeah, we've got about 50,000 litres in there, and we're going to top the biomass eater up while we're here. I took the auger wagon to use for loading sugar beets, so we're going to need to tip that in manually. But the rate it burns, I don't think that's a problem. So we can keep that going easily. We are close to being empty on our silage fermenters finally. So they've lasted quite a long time. I think we cut the corn in about September. Going to make the weight a bit lighter. It's a little bit heavy. Like if I drop the bucket, the telehandler will be stuck on the back wheels. Heavy. Okay, checking everything is running nicely. Lime sold, sitting at just under 200, just over 200 grand. So as I said, we're going to do some digestate spreading now on the grass fields. This was partly because I wanted to look at the change in nitrogen requirements for grass, and you'll see that it's down at about 40 to 50, 60 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare, which is a lot lower. It was up at 180 to 200, I think, in FS19 and at release in FS22. And this is the remains of the field from, it was a grass field. Obviously we destroyed it when we put all the productions in, but there is some grass there still. I might paint over all of this because it's affecting our environmental score, but I might just do this corner because this bit is mowable. It's very mowable. Or could have a sheep pasture put on it, which is what I was talking about earlier. If I can get it to fit nicely, I might try that separately, see if I can get it to work, and maybe we'll do that before growing up the lambs. Just forgetting the key bindings, and actually what it is, it's not me forgetting, it's the auto width is picking up 12 meters when actually it's 14. So quick change there and we are good to go. And yeah, this change in nitrogen requirement means we're getting close to perfect nitrogen, and we're not using 15 tanks of digestate a field, which makes it more enjoyable to spread, and we don't have to rely on auto drive and courseplay to do it all. We can actually do it ourselves because it's a manageable amount of work. There we go, pretty much perfect. I'll refill and head to the next grass field. I'm going to do another 2 or 3 grass fields, I think. Not all of them because we have a lot, but that's good because it means we can produce a lot of silage in the spring and keep the cows going and hay for the sheep and silage for the BGA. So I'm going to keep expanding the cows. The open pasture holds 500, I think. And we're going to push that up high because beef cattle are a good source of income, so we may as well try that. All going to help in the long run for paying off the loan. We're making money now, which is good. Had a little bit of a spike in income from the lime, all those rocks from the field, and realizing that actually we make so much digestate that we should be selling fertilizer, because in the world at the moment fertilizer is insanely expensive. So if we can make granulated fertilizer to sell, we should definitely be doing that. It's going to make us a lot of cash. And it's really nice that we're using sensible amounts of digestate on fields now, or grass fields. It makes up massively for not being able to use the grassland roller, because you can almost single stage fertilize with a tank of digestate on a decent sized field. That's pretty cool. Because grass ignores over fertilization, you can just you could go a little bit heavy and be done. We've used just over half a tank on there. So yeah, you could go pretty heavy with the digestate and be done with your fertilizing or manure or slurry. I really like that. It's a good move by Giants. And it's nice to be back on the farm and working on our fields. Next episode, I'm debating skipping forwards a bunch so that we're in sort of February, so we're doing prep for planting in the spring. Still considering that, but yeah, that's possibly what's going to happen in the next video. We'll step ahead and be into early spring field work, late winter, very early spring or late winter, I don't know. Yeah, so we can really push a bit more progress. We started this game in August and it's only December. I'm playing for quite a while. So yeah, and with the reduction in the work on productions, that should be possible. I would ask for your opinion, but I've probably made that call before you see this video, so it'll stick your opinion below. I may not have. It's a common problem when I ask for feedback on things, like when I asked for feedback on loan payment or tractor. By the time I'd brought the tractor, I don't think the video had even released. So, it's kind of tricky. I guess a good place to ask those questions would be on Patreon, probably. Now that I have at least one patron. So, anyway, decided to sell some milk, bring in a bit more cash, and I think we've got quite a bit. So went to grab the tanker from over at the old productions site, and I have a slight problem here that it starts off picking up diesel from the diesel tank. Now, who doesn't like a little bit of diesel in their milk? Just adds a little bit of spice to your milk. What I end up doing is going in and changing the configuration of the trailer so that it only takes milk. So that it can only fill with milk. And we're only going to use it for milk and water now, so might actually go in and tweak it so that it does milk and water. Yeah, 30,000 litres, just over half a tanker full, and we're going to take that off to the sell point. The other things I want to do are look at options for the planter, and we're also going to pick up a couple of loads of beef cattle. They want to keep pushing, expanding the herd, and I thought some more beef cattle would be good. We don't really have more room for dairy cattle, so just checking where the dairy sell point is. It's around by the animal dealer, if you haven't been to this part of the map before. Let's get that sold, see what we get. Nice, 40 grand. Nice little bonus for the environmental score on that one. Now I wonder, and I don't know of an easy way. Actually, we do get it, yeah. So you get it. We're just going to have a look at the planter option. So there's the base game one or the modded one. The modded one is more expensive and it is on sale. But what I actually look at is I can lease it for 20 grand a day, and that's the one that works with the tractor mod. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to pay some more off the loan. We're down to 9.5 million now. And it still leaves us with 100 grand to buy some more cattle. So we're buying a trailer load of the Angus calves, and we'll get a trailer load of the Limousine calves as well, because that's what we've been doing. So we'll keep doing it. Get 30 of each. I'm sure you'd get more calves in a trailer this big. But, yeah. FS treats calves the same as adult cows. So those unloaded and get back to the store. And I think at this point I will say thank you for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button, leave me a comment below, and if you're not already, and if you're not, how have you watched this many of my videos and not be, please subscribe and turn on notifications for my regular farm sim videos. Catch you next time.